How is it possible to be with someone 24/7 and not say or do something that you're going to regret? Can you take back something that you do, that you've done, or that you've said?
Did you push record?
Thanks so much for tuning into Our Second Act with Paige and Silka.
For your second act of life. Hey, Silka.
Hello, Paige. First of all, let me compliment you on your look today. Yeah. Your choice of outfit is just gorgeous. Your hair, your makeup. I'm teasing Paige. Poor Paige has a shoulder issue. And what are you wearing?
It's very cool. I'm wearing an electromagnetic shoulder sling that sends electromagnetic energy to my rotator cuff, to my tears, to my all the things I have wrong in there. So I can't lift my arm to do anything with my hair or anything, which I told Silka is really freeing because I don't have to do anything.
No, you
So
know
there's
what? You
some
look absolutely gorgeous. You look like you're 15 years old. So whatever. We should do a whole segment on that. But
it's
what we're
comfortable,
talking,
it's easy. So yeah, so our viewers will see this probably, in the next weeks, when we film. So thanks for bringing that up, Silka.
well, you're welcome. No, what we want to talk about today is having a short temper, saying things that you regret, especially as we're still in the pandemic, as you're seeing this, as we're recording this, and how that's affecting relationships. How is it possible to be with someone 24/7 and not say or do something that you're going to regret? How do you deal with that? Can you take back something that you do, that you've done, or that you've said?
I guess it's my turn, right?
Yeah.
Good, good, good question, Silka. So even before we were in the pandemic, everyone does this. Things come flying out of your mouth, and you know they're flying out, and you can't stop them, and it just is a vomit. And then you go, oh shit. Or maybe you don't. Maybe you go, I'm so glad it came out. Wherever you are, it also makes it worse while we're in the pandemic because there's so much more irritation and anger. So the question is, what do you do once the vomit has come out and you said something that's going to make everything spiral, right?
Right.
So you got to back up a little bit. I'm always about backing up. There's ways that we vomit on somebody. Maybe you're just having a bad day. You don't feel well. Maybe you have an injury and you're in pain. Maybe someone said something to you that you didn't like. There could be many reasons why you begin to vomit. Sometimes it's just off the cuff. It really wasn't about the other person at all. And it was just a bad day. That's an easier one for people to say, I'm so sorry. I had a bad day. This is what happened. I didn't mean what I said. Right? So that could be one instance, right, Silka?
Right. Absolutely.
But the deeper issues, there's these deeper things within relationships that nobody addresses, no one brings up and talks about before things start flying out of your mouth. So think about it. If you're getting more agitated and irritated because your significant other isn't hearing you, isn't listening to you, isn't staying with their commitments and promises of things that they said that they would do consistently, it builds and builds and builds and builds and builds until one day, whew, it just comes out. So I'll just make a pause right there because I wanted to give a few examples first.
Well, yeah, no, exactly. What the question is, when for the person that said it, if something comes out, then and you tend to go to a state of deep regret. Uh, but
Some do.
I guess when we're operating on the premise that something was said, something was done, and the person does want to take it back. That's the premise I'm coming from right now.
Mhm.
But the person that heard it, you really can't take back words and how those affected someone else, or an action that you did that affected someone else.
Yes.
Or can't how do you deal with that? Especially something deep that really hurt that person when you were really ugly, and people do. They come off flying off the handle and saying really ugly things.
Yeah. And there's so many layers to that. If you're with somebody who's notoriously abusive or not kind, then pay attention if that keeps continuing to go on. You have to make a decision. if you're compromising yourself, your body, your soul, your mind, everything to stay with that person. If a person isn't always like that, and there's issues between the two of you, that's when you really have to look at the issues a little bit more. And one, if you're the one who says something that's really deep, hurting, and mean, think about what you said, because the quickest thing someone does is, I'm sorry. Okay, that's a little too quick. Really step back and think about what you said, feel what you said. And if there's truth to what you said, it's important to say, you know what? I realized that what I said was completely inappropriate. It was so hurtful and mean. I feel horrible about saying it. I want to tell you that first. So then you see what the receiving person has to say. After that, you can go with, what I'm realizing is this is what's bothering me underneath the words that I said. I wish I would have addressed it earlier, or maybe I did address this over and over again, and you're not hearing me. I don't feel like there's any commitment or consistency, so I'm frustrated. So I'll just pause there, Silka.
I guess what the thing not to do is to minimize, or yeah, or
Absolutely.
to say, well, you misunderstood, or I didn't mean, or because that can make things worse, right?
Yeah, or to say, I'm sorry, this is why I'm saying it, but no, 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 no. I'm a big person on take but out of your language and use the word and, because this is how it can sound better. I'm really sorry that I said something hurtful and mean. I can tell how much it bothered you. I'm deeply sorry. And what I'm realizing is, see the difference? You don't minimize what you've said. And you're also including in what you're realizing as to why you said it. So, one of the biggest takeaways we're going to say here today, and Soka's going to ask me again at the end of our show, is take out the word but and put in the word and. Makes a huge difference.
You and I have never talked about this, have we?
I don't think so.
I live by that. I do. Have you
Good
ever
for you,
heard?
Soka.
I started that about 15 years ago. I'm not saying I never said but no, I love that. I think that is the takeaway here, is
Mhm.
when when you have screwed up, when you've hurt someone, or even just in daily conversations, being genuine with someone. Think about that word. Every time you put "but" into it, it discredits everything you just said.
It does. It does. And the goal is when someone's so frustrated that they're vomiting out their anger, that what they really want is to be heard and to have something change so they're not feeling this way. I mean, that's the underlying component of it all. So yeah, so apologizing for what you said and also putting in the reason behind it and where the two of you can go from there and what it was like. Another big component, another big takeaway is to ask your significant other, what was that like to hear me say that? And what's it like to hear the reasons why I said that? That opens more communication. Now, warning, red light, red flag warning. You may not be able to do that right after you have vomited out what you said. It's always good to take time and then come back together when the other person is ready, because they're the one that's hurt. So it's really important to say to the other person, I screwed up. Let me know when you're ready to hear my apology and to talk about this. I don't want to push you. Because most of the time when we screw up, we want to like fix it right away because we don't want to feel bad and we don't want to sit in it. And it doesn't give the other person time to take in and then to come back and say, okay, I'm ready to talk about it. But don't have it be more than 24 hours.
Well, it goes back to taking responsibility for your actions and being
Yep.
genuinely sorry and being able to
Yes.
communicate that.
Yes. I use the word ownership. Own your shit. You know, that's why I like to call it ownership. Own your shit. So, so
I'm not even going to ask you how you want to close out this segment. I think we just did.
I think we did too, but I'll reiterate just very quickly. Take out the word but, use and. Take time before you make a sincere, deep apology and explain the reason behind it and give the other person time to take it in. Third, allow the other person to tell you what it was like to hear that. That's really, really important. And last but not least, it's called ownership. Own your shit.
Thank you, Paige. Let's come back and talk about trust issues in a relationship. Another huge topic that's affecting us now. So, see you next time on Our Second Act with Paige and Silka.
For your second act of life.
Bye
See
bye.
you.
If you haven't already done so, please be sure to subscribe to our channel. The button is right over here. Just click on through to YouTube, and when you see that little bell right next to the subscribe button, hit that too. We'll notify you every time we launch a new video. See you next time.